this is going to be the damage test for D15, so we are currently in Long Shade. And for now, I'm probably just going to go in order of these classes here. I'll just start with Boomer, then I'll go Ice Sage, then I'll pick these classes. And then I'll work on swapping things around to give my gems pretty much to these classes. And I'm not going to do absolute max coefficient, max damage, because I just don't have the resources for that. But I will be testing this out with pretty much near max gear and max gems. So Boomeranger, for example, completely maxed out. I could get a little bit more coefficient. I'm also going to be using this Heck Mantis ally. And if you do not have this ally, then you can also just swap it out for the Mana Beast one, which you can get in the Mysticism bench. Or if you want to, you can just use Scorpius, Orcheon, Animated Jug, doesn't really matter. You'll just lose out on a bit of coefficient or light, depending on the one that you use. Like, we already have so much light. There's, if you didn't know, light caps for each difficulty. I just don't really know what it is for D15, but I was told 12.9k. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but either way, having a ton more coefficient will benefit you guys. And I don't want to get too much into the details of my class builds and all that stuff, because you can just refer to my all class build video, which is pretty much the same thing, just change your gems to Mystic. So this video is just going to be damage, and that's it, nothing else. All right, so we'll go ahead and fight a boss, because bosses are a good indicator on how much damage we do. Alright, so this is Boomeranger basic attack, nothing else, just basic attack. I pretty much just destroyed the thing. And we can do Curse Skulls as well, so this is just nothing, basic attack. I mean, if I added Q, this would just straight up be a one-shot. Like, there's no questions asked. Boomeranger, just amazing damage. And I guess we can just press Q, hit this boss, and yeah. Alright, let's go over to the next class. We'll go Ice Age. Okay, so for my Ice Age, my star chart isn't a magic damage build. I have physical damage for it, so that's why my coefficient was really high. And for magic damage classes, it's not going to be as high. So everything is max. All my gems are done. Same with my Boomer. My Boomers was done. And my gear is done. I'm using the Heck Mantis. I'm just going to kind of hover over it, pause if you want to. So we'll go ahead and do a couple dungeons. Alright, so let's just start with this world boss here. We'll do some basic attacks. And as you can see, pretty good damage. Like, solid stuff. Not even pressing Q, not even using an ultimate. So basic attack, just alone, already does a pretty good amount of damage. Sometimes the hits just don't register, that's just typical in this game. And we got a double boss over here. I'll just show you guys with the ultimate and Q, and we just straight up one-shot the guy. So there you go. That's Ice Sage's damage right there. Next up, we got the Shadow Hunter. I'm rocking 79 mil coefficient, and my hat and face is a 2-star. Everything else is maxed out. So there is that. So we'll just basic attack on this guy over here. So there you go. Pretty much amazing damage, and I can get a little bit more, so that's also just straight up good to know. Alright, so here we have a boss. We'll just do basic attacks, and damage isn't that bad. If I added Q, it'd be really good. So that's Shadowhunter's damage. Like, I'm assuming I'm not going to shoot the guy from down here. I'll just go inside. I'll just press Q just so you guys can see the damage. So we hit press Q, and there we go. So if you wanted to, you could farm with Shadowhunter. I don't know. I've heard people saying that you just can't farm with Shadowhunter. Well, that's just a myth. Max out your stuff, and then you can. And that just goes to show with every other class. Let me see if I can find a Curse Skull, because I want to see if the stun works out pretty well. Alright, so Curse Skull, this one's kind of easy though. This one can be one-shot. I would imagine the other one can also get pretty close to a one-shot, but you would have to press Q. Alright, so we found a Curse Skull, and let's see. Stun does not that much damage, but if we use Q, I guess it does a decent bit of damage, but not enough. So there we go. That's Shadowhunter's damage. Alright, so next up we got the Dino Tamer. So with Dino Tamer, I have the gear and the gems completely maxed out. I just don't have them at 90315. Gonna use the Heck Mantis, Repel Rune, and no star chart. So we'll go ahead and go to a boss, and we'll see the damage. Okay, so let's pull out the ult, and then we press Q, and there we go. That's pretty much how the damage will be. He's amazing. You can farm with Dino Tamer. I'll try to do it without Q, just so you guys can see the damage difference. Let's see if this is a good Curse Skull. I guess this one's pretty easy. You don't have to do anything. Enemies are pretty, they die pretty fast there. Alright, we got this enemy here, so the damage is not bad, even without Q. So there you go. You can farm with Dino Tamer pretty easily. Alright, so next up we got the Knight. So we'll just do the basic attack, and then we'll press Q on a boss. Pretty much maxed out. We have the gear done, and we have all of the gems done as well. So 71 mil coefficient. Let's go find a boss. And let's see our basic attack damage. Oh my god, he does a lot of damage. Okay, I wasn't in range that well, but okay, I'm gonna do another example. But he does a ton of damage, it looks like. See, is this one of those other critical? We can't test our damage here. This is just always a one-shot no matter what the class is. Also, looks like my range on the weapon is awful, but I don't know. Alright, so we have a boss. We'll just do a basic attack again, and like I said, without Q, he does amazing damage. This is insane. I'm assuming all the classes are gonna be like this, though. Alright, so we got a regular critical. We just do plenty of damage, so there we go. That's Knight's damage, so we can move on from him. Alright, so next up we got the Bard. I don't have his squash gem finish, but everything else is. We got max gear over here using the Heck Mantis. Got the subclass 13.5k light, 62 mil coefficient. So let's see how much damage we do. So this is just basic attack, no buffs, no anything. This is still surprisingly pretty good. So you can use Bard to farm actually. So if anyone's a Bard main out there, so there you go. That's some confirmation. That was just basic attack without the ultimate. Let's go find an actual boss. Okay, here we have a boss. I'm just gonna use my basic attack. We'll see how much damage this does. And I cannot even see his health bar at all. But I guess there we go. So he does damage, but I don't know how much damage that was. Let me go find another one. Okay, here we go. We have a world boss. We'll just do our damage here. So there we go. Not bad. It's pretty good damage. He's actually usable in D15 if you guys wanted to use him. And just in case you guys wanted to see again, we'll do another damage test. And if you pair this with your ultimates, I'm getting pushed off here, but there's so many other things you can do. This is with a maxed out Bard, and every other class will be like this as well. So there we go. That is the Bard. All right, next up we got the Revenant. So 76 mil coefficient. We have max gear. Apart from the spear, I couldn't get a maxed out spear, but 3 stars should be good enough. Hat in the face are done, and the gems are all done. And then we're using the Heck Mantis. We're using the Repel rune. So yeah, here we go. Let's do our basic attack. Maybe we can pair this up with the other thing. So there we go. That's damage with just the poke. So that's already really good damage. No complaints at all there. If we paired that up with the spears over here, then it would just be insane damage. So here we go. Let's try it out with the spears with these guys, and it looks like it is still insane. We'll try out the spears on this guy, so we'll do everything, and there we go. So yeah, this guy over here is viable. All right, next up we got the Solarion. So 72 mil coefficient. Everything is maxed apart from the weapon, which I can actually fix right now. There we go, max weapon, and then the gems are also all done apart from this one over here. Everything else is max mystic. Using the Heck Mantis. So yeah, 72 mil coefficient. So I'll do basic attack. It's not going to do that much damage, but then we'll use the ultimate after. So here we got the boss. And as you can see, we do pretty much nothing. So I guess that's your damage there, but we will use the ultimate for the next one. And you guys are going to see the huge damage difference because that's kind of how you play Solarion. So let's go find another boss. Okay, so we got the ultimate up, and there we go. We just shredded that guy. Let's go shred this guy over here. I'm just going to keep the ultimate up. Using Q, and bam, there we go. Easily one shot. You could farm with Solarion if you really wanted to. I don't really have to show much else. Cursed Skulls, you can one shot. I'll just showcase it. I'll go find one. Okay, so here we have a Cursed Skull. Hopefully it's not the one I'm thinking of. All right, nice. So there you go. Yeah, just straight up one shot it. Don't have to worry about knockback. Nothing at all. So there we go. Solarion is pretty solid. Really good class. Alrighty, next up we got the Fae Trickster. So we have 56 mil coefficient. I gave him max gems, and then I also gave him maxed out gear using the Heck Mantis Repel rune. So let's see how much damage he does. So we can start with the Cursed Skull. Let's see how much damage we do on these enemies. I guess I keep forgetting you have to not get hit, but there we go. This is the damage. We can use the stun. So the stun actually kind of works. Okay, hold on. I want to go find... I want to do this with just stuns. Let's see. Okay, you can fight them with just stuns. It's actually not even that bad. You can still farm with Fae, actually. Let me go fight a boss, and then let me also try it with Q. Okay, there we have a boss. I'm gonna press Q, and then let's see how much damage we do. Oh my god. All right, there we go. And that's, mind you, that's only 56 mil coefficient. I'm nowhere near max. Actually, I'm pretty close to max, but that's kind of insane. So you can farm with Fae Trickster. So that makes me think you can literally farm with anybody. But I'll just keep going with the video. All right, so with Lunar Lancer, you can buff him out to the max. 93 mil coefficient right now. I maxed his gems. The gear is pretty close to being maxed, just 2 levels off of this one. Like, it's pretty crazy that I can probably find some way to get him at 100 mil coefficient, or maybe even really close to it. But Heck Mantis, we have like an insane amount of crit damage. But let's go see how much damage he actually does. Alright, so we got a Cursed Skull. We'll do some basic attacks, and oh my god, he is farmable. You can use him. You can definitely use him. That was just basic attack, nothing else. Let's go do some more damage. Let's go find an actual enemy, like a boss guy. Okay, so here we have a boss. We'll do our basic attack, and there we go. That's pretty much it. No nothing, no ultimates. I mean, I guess I'll use my ultimate for the next one. Let's go find another boss. Alright, I see a boss. Let's use our ultimates, and let's see how much damage we do. So pretty good, really solid. I mean, I don't know, no complaints there. You guys can probably play Lunar Lancer a lot better than I can, so there we go. He's definitely farmable, that's for sure. Oh my god, the coefficient goes to 150 mil? That's with his ultimate. That is insane. Holy, wait, if I press Q, 375 mil. That's, I don't even know what to say, man. That's Lunar Lancer, I guess. Oh, I guess I forgot to say, I didn't even finish his Clash Gem. Yeah, you can easily get him high enough then. Alright, next up we got the Neon Ninja, 78 mil coefficient. We maxed out the gear. Heck Mantis, I don't know why I keep saying we maxed out. I'm just swapping over my Boomeranger gems and my Ice Age gems around. And yeah, pretty much gems are all maxed. They're all finished. 78 mil. Let's go see how much damage we do. We'll do basic attack, then we'll add in shurikens, and then we'll add in Q. So this is basic attack, Neon Ninja. So pretty decent actually, considering he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Let's go use our shuriken and see how much damage that does. So do basic attack, throw a little shuriken, and there we go. So it's not amazing, but you can still farm with them. All right, now I want to do everything, but with Q. So we do Q, and we threw shuriken, and there we go. So it's still doable. If you really wanted to farm with Neon Ninja, just max them out, and then you can do that. Okay, next up we got the Candy Barb. Let me just switch his subclass. So 13.5k light, maxed out gear. Heck Mantis, Repel Rune, everything is maxed out. As close as it can be pretty much. I just have a little bit scuffed. These two Empower Gems I just have health on because this was my health build. I just swapped over my Boomeranger stuff. I couldn't seem to swap out my blue and red gem, but it's fine. 79 mil coefficient should be plenty for a damage test. And then you guys can do better if you plan on maxing it out. Okay, so we'll do basic attack on the enemy over here, this boss guy. So let's see how much damage. That is pretty decent damage. So there we go. If I use Q, then he would maybe not instant dive. A lot of damage would be done pretty much. And then that's not even including the ultimate, but we'll just do everything and just the one shot. That was with my ultimate, so if you plan on using your ultimate, it'll just one shot. So easy claps. You can also farm with Candy Barb, it looks like, so that's pretty cool. All right, next up we got the Vanguard. So max gear, Heck Mantis, Repel Rune, and then the gems are all maxed out as well. So 78 mil coefficient. Let's see how much damage we do. All right, we got a Cursed Skull. Let's see if it's one of the good Cursed Skulls. All right, so this is gonna be our damage test by basic attack damage. So pretty good, so you can farm with them. I mean, there isn't really much else to say. I guess we'll test it out on the boss. We can give him the debuff. And there we go. I'll use Q and everything on this guy. So yeah, we'll just straight up one shot. So yeah, Vanguard's pretty OP. He does a ton of damage, it looks like. All right, next up we got the Gunslinger. So same deal here. We got maxed out gear, Heck Mantis, Repel Rune, and the gems are all done. So let's check out his damage. We'll do basic attack and then we'll do ultimate for a different boss. So pretty good damage again. Like every class I've already talked about is already pretty good damage. Like no complaints with any class at all. And I guess we'll just use our ultimate for this guy and we'll see how much damage that is. So ultimate. And I guess I got kind of stuck, but either way, that was pretty good. We straight up destroyed as expected. We'll just do it from the top now. Yeah, just one shot. So yeah, if you can get it straight on, then it's just a one shot. And that was with Q ultimate, so I had the arcane emblem active and everything. So there we go. That's Gunslinger. All right, we're almost done. Next up, we have the Draco. So for this guy, Heck Mantis, everything's maxed out. Only thing I don't have maxed out is the Clash Gem. That's a level 30 Mystic. Everything else is maxed out, so we got the gems done there. Now let's go find a boss and see how much damage he does. All right, so we'll do basic attack and then we'll use the ultimate for the other one. So here we'll do basic attack. And that is going to be the damage. A little bit slow, but still doable. And obviously, I don't have my stuff maxed out, so if I did, then it would probably be close to the damage that everyone else that we've already seen. Now we'll do the ultimate, no Q or anything like that, so that is really good damage. Draco, just like every other class, is viable. Especially the fact that if you were to max out his coefficient and gems in general. Here we have the Chloromancer, so I have him at 57 mil coefficient. I don't have his Clash Gem finished, but it is Mystic. Everything else is maxed, and we also have the gear maxed as well. Using Heck Mantis, Repel Rune, let's go test out basic attack, and then we'll use the ultimates. I mean, realistically, you're probably not going to farm with Chloromancer, but I guess you could. So this is basic attack Chloro. Not the best it looks like, but obviously I'm missing some coefficient. I'll just throw some plants down, maybe that'll speed up the process a little bit. So there we go. All right, so due to how awkward Chloromancer is to farm with, I'm just going to test him out on a Leviathan in D15 here. And it's not to say that you can't farm with him. Like if you use your abilities, you can, and obviously mine's not max coefficient or anywhere near it. Yo, Mike, my man, thank you for that YouTube sub. So we'll just go ahead and throw some plants down. We'll play Chloromancer like we used to. We'll do that. And oh wait, this is the Lobsteroso guy. Yeah, there you go. Chloromancer does amazing damage, as you can see. This is a D15 Leviathan, by the way. So there we go. That is the damage for Chloro. All right, so here we got the Tomb Raiser, 56 mil coefficient. I don't have the Clash Gem finished. Everything else is maxed, and then the gear is also maxed out using Heck Mantis and the Repel Rune. Also, I'm going to use the Arcane Emblem. I'll do basic attack. I'll try it out with Q, and then after that, I'll do an extra one with just me spamming my abilities. So let's do basic attack only. If the minions spawn in on their own, then so be it. So I guess let's see what the damage is like. So this is basic attack. I'm not going to press anything else, so It is not the best damage, but it is still doable. You can still farm with them. Here we have a boss. I'll just use a couple of my things, or maybe just all of my things. And it is a little bit inconsistent because I was kind of all over the place, but pretty manageable. We'll do a critical. Just spam everything. Use Q. Should be... yeah, there we go. So they kind of just die. I'll just use everything again on the boss over here. So we'll use all my abilities and Q. There we go. So yeah. It does a ton of damage, just have to use all the abilities, and I don't even have them maxed out, so that's your little indicator for Tomb Raiser. Alright, last but not least, we got the Pirate Captain. I'm not really expecting too much from him since you're not going to use him for farming most likely. Mainly for damage, so 13.5k lights, maxed out gear, and the gems are all maxed apart from the Clash gem, and that is all of that. Like Mantis, Zephyroon. I guess we'll go ahead and do our basic attack, and then we'll go ahead and do some abilities or something. Alright, so Curse Skull, we got this one. We'll just throw a couple turrets down and see how much damage we do. It's actually not bad. I mean, it's kind of annoying that the enemies get knocked back, but it's actually pretty good. Got a world boss here, and it's pretty good. I don't have my ring effects either, so there's that, and my Pirate Captain's just not even max. Also, I guess I just broke my rune, so let me do this. Just so we have a rune, and we'll do this guy over here. So I'll throw all my abilities, and that's pretty annoying. The knockback is kind of insane. But I would imagine he'd be really good for Leviathans and stuff. You know what, let's go do that. Let's go fight a Leviathan. That's how we're gonna end things off. So Chloro and Pirate Captain both get a Leviathan. Alright, so here we are, Leviathan. We'll throw some turrets down, and then we'll throw these, and then we'll throw the ults. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. So these are gonna be my turret, or my turrets are staying the same. I'm gonna use my ultimate again, but the burst of damage is pretty insane. So I don't know, one of you guys can play Pirate Captain a little bit better than me, but I'd say that's really good damage, considering I'm not even maxed out either. And the thing for like bosses like that, if you get more light, it would do more damage since they don't have a cap. But yeah, that's gonna be the damage for every class in D15. And if you guys are curious about Depth Delve, it'll carry over to Depth Delve. So whatever class is viable in here, it'll be viable in Depth Delve. And just know that some classes will be better than others, like we saw Boomeranger and Solarion will shred. Ice Age will be amazing if it's like groups of enemies and things like that. But yeah, you get the point. If you guys are curious about the gems, they're maxed out gems from my Boomeranger and my Ice Age. 90315, it was pretty close to it. It was add Clash gems on different colors for my other classes. So it wasn't absolute perfect, but it was pretty much near perfect. And then obviously my star chart and things like that. So depending on what classes that you guys pick, depending on what you guys do, pretty much every class is viable in D15. So you can go ahead and pick whoever you want to. Just max them out and know that they're going to perform really well. But anyway, that's going to be all for today's video. If you guys have enjoyed, please drop a like, as it did take me a while to even make this video. So hopefully this gave you guys a little bit of a guideline of who is good and who's not good. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can leave whenever you want to. Either way, thank you all so much for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing. And I'll talk to you guys later.